I made a new Warframe account last week and ran into challenges very early. Like, I wanted to get boosters so I can get double resources and double credits, and other things like I needed Forma for my syndicates or catalysts, and the big thing when you're starting out early, slots. It can be really frustrating sometimes, but I actually overcame it and made 600 platinum in just 7 days of trading. And here's how you can do it too. Before we get to making platinum, there's a couple things that you need to know about your low MR account. One of those is you can't trade until you're MR2, and you only get one trade per day. So I would highly advise that you try to get as much MR as possible so you can rank up and get more trades per day. The best thing that you can do to your account is invest the time and the plat that you make from this video and reach harder and better rewarding content so you can snowball, get better loot, and sell it for more. Let's jump straight into it. The most easily accessible and highest rewarding would be cracking open relics and getting prime junk. On an early account, you won't have every mission unlocked, so if you want to get higher level relics like Neos and Axes, you're probably going to need to get a taxi. For those of you guys that aren't able to get a taxi, this method is still really, really good. What you're going to do is you're going to open up your relics and you get one of 3 tiers of rewards. You either get a common that's worth 15 to 25 ducats, you get a uncommon, which is worth 45 ducats to 65 ducats, or you get a rare, which is worth 100 ducats. Barrow Katir is here for this weekend. He comes every about 2 weeks, and that is when the demand for prime junk is at its highest. But you can sell prime junk any day of the week. I wouldn't recommend selling common parts because odds are people aren't going to be willing to pay over 1 platinum per piece. Now, uncommons is where you can make a large amount of platinum because people normally pay about 3 platinum per piece for that, but I normally sell it for 4 platinum per piece. So you do a full trade and that's 24 platinum. That is your Warframe slot, or it could be some weapon slots. 100 ducat pieces I don't typically recommend to sell either. If you really do need the platinum, you could sell them for like 10 platinum each. But odds are these items are really rare and on their own typically go for 15 to 20 platinum each if you are not selling them as prime junk and you're selling them to somebody that needs the item specifically. Another thing that you can do with relics is prime sets. So you'll set your pieces. So let's say you're going for Revenant Prime. This is something that you would want to find a group to rad share with, which means that you're going to all refine your relic to get a better drop chance at the piece that you're going for. This also requires you to typically have some access to Neo or Axie relics because a lot of the sets have 1 or more pieces in more rare relics. One way that you can get rare relics and still get these sets very easily is if you have spare Aya, which you can gain in a couple ways. It would typically either be like Hepit or Uko, and you get lucky and get an Aya reward instead of a relic reward, or you can go ahead and do bounties, and then you go to your market, and you go to Varzia, and you look for what set. I would recommend looking at warframe.market, link is in the description as well. Look at which sets are selling for the most or which parts are selling for the most, and you can grab the relics, go to recruitment chat, find a rad share group for those relics, and just run until you get the parts. 2 strategies for this. You either go ahead and you get a set, which means you'll farm each part of the Warframe, or you can grab the highest paying part and grab a bunch of relics for those, and then farm those parts specifically to sell them individually. The next strategy is just as lucrative and is a lot of fun. They're the corrupted mods on Deimos. So what you'll do is first you'll get into a dojo. If you don't already have a dojo, I recommend you go to the link in the description. You can join the Nerdcord, which is my Discord community. I'm going to be making a dojo and we're going to be funding it all the way through. So depending on when you see this video, you could have a fully maxed out dojo right in the link in the description. You're going to go to the dojo, get the keys. You go to the Orican Research Lab, you grab the 4 dragon keys. These are reusable blueprints, so once you buy them, you can make unlimited keys off of them. Now what you're going to do is you're going to either find, some friends, and you're each going to run 1 key, or you're going to find that big tenno that occasionally will carry. Then you're going to queue up for the capture mission, and you're going to go find the vault. It looks like this. It's very, very easy to find. It takes 1 of the 4 keys to open it. You'll open it, you'll grab the orange orb, and then you'll extract. And you'll get a mod, and depending on which mod you get, It can sell for 20 platinum. A little note, all of the Warframe ones, like Blind Rage, Transient Fortitude, Fleeting, Overextended, those ones are worth a lot of platinum, and they sell very frequently. Other ones that sell really frequently would be like any of the crit ones, Heavy Caliber's good. All of them are pretty good. I even see some corrupt charges going. Sometimes people will buy multiple of them. Just go ahead and hold on to these, and when you see them in trade chat going, you can go ahead and message the person and say 20 platinum. The next thing is something that people don't normally think of that they can make platinum off of, and it's a passive way, or you can choose to speed it up through doing missions, but it's your syndicates. At MR3, you're gonna unlock syndicates and you'll be able to pledge to your syndicates. Some people like juggling 3, even I've heard you could juggle 4 factions at the same time. I prefer to focus entirely on 2 factions. I pick my main faction, whichever one they're allied with. I will switch my pledge between them occasionally, but I do both of their missions at the same time to gain the maximum amount of medallions, and the medallions give you a ton of standing every single day. Each of these mods, once you hit rank 5, which you can hit rank 5 if you grind all of the missions and pick up all the medallions and turn them in and get through the leveling of the syndicates, you could probably level up your syndicates to 5 within a week easily. Once you get the augment mods, you can sell them for 15 to 20 plat each, and they go all the time in trade chat. You can also buy weapons, but they aren't as valuable for the amount of standing that you're using, so I wouldn't recommend that. But if you start farming a lot of standing and you realize that you have way too much standing and you're going to run out, you could do one of 2 things. You could either buy a weapon and list it on Warframe Market, or wait for somebody in trade chat, or you can just buy a relic pack, which sets you back 20,000 standing and gives you 3 relics that you can use. Now, one of the last things that you can farm in the game is just like bits and bobs. And what I mean by that is one of the things that I was selling on the account was Aya. Aya was going for 6 plat per. And it's not as good as cracking the relic yourself and getting a part that potentially is worth way more than 6 platinum. But it is very quick platinum. At the same time that you're farming Aya, you could also be farming set mods, because you get set mods from bounties and you get Aya from bounties. And then keep an eye out in trade chat for random stance mods or random mods, like if you have an extra streamline or continuity, go ahead and keep track of that stuff, and you can sell bits and bobs and it'll add up over time. The last thing that I wouldn't necessarily recommend to a low MR player, but I was doing it on my account because I have experience with it on my main account, is buying low and selling high. And I know when people hear that, it irks them to their core. Some people leave like really nasty comments about it, but it's just really good in this game. It's time efficient. Normally, I wouldn't advise it for anybody MR7 or lower, because my bread and butter strategy comes in once you can trade ribbons at MR8. But just understand, anything is profitable in this game as long as you get it for the right price. So oftentimes, going back to the corrupted mods, I'll buy those for 5 platinum, level them up, and then sell them for like 30 platinum. Or if they're a 10 rank mod, like Blind Rage, I leveled that up and then sold it for 114 platinum, which is a lot. But the only reason I had the endo to do that was because I was buying Ayaten sculptures, which I was paying really, really low prices to get Ayaten sculptures. Hopefully this helped you guys and you're gonna make a lot of platinum. If you found it helpful, go ahead and press the subscribe button. I have another video where I make 500 plat a day when I'm trading on my other account, just buying and selling items. If you would like to check that out, it's going to be in the cards at the end of the video. Thank you for watching the video. I'll catch you guys another time.